How important do you think communication is in terms of like the way that you show up here and the way that you talk? Do you think that's important? And if so, what advice would you give to my audience about being an effective communicator?
Of course, communication is the most important thing next to being successful. Actually, I would say in order to be successful, you have to be able to communicate your ideas and your thoughts and who you are and your point of view. And if you can't communicate those things, it will show in your inability to create the things that you want to have.
So what do you do when you think about your own communication style? What are some of the things that you've learned over time that are effective to make people take you seriously, to hear you and to persuade people?
I am incredibly present in any room that I am in. And that is a missed skill in a day and age where everyone has a cell phone where they can contact millions of people instantly. I find that leaders who want to get promoted and be in the next position, they don't even think of how unaware they look in every leadership meeting because they are simply answering another email or not in that room. And my philosophy is if you're in the room and your 2 feet are there, that is where you have to be. And so you are an effective communicator if you can actually track with what's happening. If I can track what he's doing over here, and when he comes and talks to me, I'm able to have a conversation because he's physically in my space. That communication matters. It's not just the most important person in the room that matters in any room. It's how you present yourself to every individual because you are present in that environment right now. And if you can teach yourself to not numb yourself from the environment, if you can teach yourself to really observe the environment and talk to whoever it is that's in front of you, communicate with them, even if they're not talking to you. How we became partners with Grant and Elena Cardone was by sitting at an event with 35,000 people. And instead of acting like big deals and instead of acting like we were somebody, we sat there in their audience and took notes and were actively interested in what they were saying. Why? Because if somebody's up on stage and you want that person's attention, the fastest way to make them not want to spend time with you is to slouch in your chair and is to look down or be distracted the whole time. And then when they meet you to come maybe take a picture at the end of the event, they see you. They're going to know that you gave them no laughs, you gave them no verbal cues, you were completely uninterested, and you actually made their job harder for them despite the fact that maybe they're your role model or idol. I find people are so unaware of their physical presence in any room, in a meeting, in a schoolroom, in a presentation, in a conversation with their significant other, with their kids, that if they could just own the space that they are in and be intentional with the human being that's in front of them, it would change everything in their lives.
What about how you speak? How the most effective speakers that you've encountered, what it is they do tactically to make sure that people hear what they're saying and are persuaded by them. You know, and there's a spectrum, right? There'll be these business owners that you meet that are like terrible communicators and speakers. What are they doing wrong? Mm-hmm. And then the very best that you meet, what are they doing right?
The more frameworks somebody has to frame their communication, I think helps them land their point. So there's no shortages of frameworks on the planet. My framework is vision, commitment, execution. I use 3 steps in every communication that I'm really intentional about and wanting to land. And that 3-step framework can be used for getting a promotion. It could be used for laying people off. It could be used to figuring out where you're going to go to dinner that night and persuading your significant other. So the first step of the framework under VCE is vision. And it's important that vision is first, because if you can articulate to somebody the intention and the why behind whatever it is you're communicating, you're going to get much further than just going into tactics. And if it's tactics that you go into, people forget it. People don't remember tactics. They like the tips, but do they actually implement those things? Oftentimes not, because it's just tactics. So